So it's like you said, enumeration is pretty critical in the sense of it's used for, well, let me take a step back. So when you're looking at enumeration, think of recon. So recon is usually you're gathering all this information, all these data points that you need. Enumeration is basically that process in which you took to one, get the information, and how are you going to utilize that information to, protect said attack vector or prevent certain vulnerabilities from happening. So to me, enumeration is most like that next step after you do the reconnaissance. Whether it's, I would say net BIOS enumeration, DNS zone transfer, things of that nature. The tips I can give somebody that's coming in is sticking to what works for you and being very, very thorough. My experience has always been that, this thing does take time to do because you are gathering a lot of data. It takes time to get, the user groups and, which ports you need to go through to actually enumerate to get all this information back. So it is a tedious process, but at the same time, it is very rewarding. It's a nice feeling to know that, okay, I'm doing this to protect someone's information. That way, there's no issues later on for this person. Yeah, so before the CEH course, I would say my thought process behind enumeration is probably like the general public. You see a movie and it has all this cyber stuff in it. It's like everything is so quick, it's so fast. And it's like the right information pops up at the right time. And after taking CEH and, being within that cyber and information security realm myself, you come to understand that the process is a little bit more finicky, but and it takes some time. You really have to be patient and diligent with what you're doing. I have yet to see someone just go in and enumerate and be done in a few minutes. It is not like that. Granted, for me specifically working at Atlantic Tech, it's part of our daily task. So when we're going through and we're doing these things, I think the course itself, CEH, has allowed me to really see how important doing just the quote unquote grunt work, so to speak, of going through and being very diligent and thorough when I'm enumerating. Roles on the team, so it goes without saying, the cyber team is obviously going to need to be very in depth when it comes to understanding enumeration, the methodology, and everything that goes with it. I would also say probably your networking and your server team. Not as much, obviously, as a cyber team. They don't need to know everything, but they need to understand the basics. And honestly, I'll probably venture out to say everyone within an organization really needs to understand just at a very high level of what enumeration is, only because when it comes to protecting information and data, that is the responsibility of everyone. And I know there's a whole thing where it's like, oh, well, only cyber needs to worry about that. But if data gets out, it is the business at fault, not the specific team at fault. That makes sense. So I would say, honestly, everyone needs to have just a little bit of knowledge. This is important to understand, if there's a vulnerability within said department or wherever, it's important for everyone to understand that. So it's easier to protect that information. Okay. So in just starting, the best piece of advice I can probably give you is to remain patient with what you're doing. Be consistent. It is a very, I don't want to say mundane task, but it can be daunting sometimes when you start to see how much data is coming back and how to utilize it. And you can get flustered a little bit. But I would say stay consistent. And honestly, it tends to work out, and you'll be surprised at how well you'll be able to course through a lot of data within, said window that you're given. So I would say, yeah, just being diligent, patient, and consistent throughout it all. That's the best advice you can give someone that's just starting out.